See, because you watered it down, if I had it just without the water, I would be sort of going like...
Yeah, but it's not.
But when I drink alcohol, because I don't like alcohol as opposed to beer, what it sends a sort of...
What are you doing in radio, man?
It's like he's doing heavy
Ah,
lifting.
look what you got.
Connecting you one commute at a time. This is the Live Drive with John Tory. Breaking news and stimulating talk. News Talk 1010.
John Moore is here. We brought back the old cocktail hour music, John.
I could smell this from my home 2 blocks away.
That's right. It was. He just knew something
It's the
brought
scent
him
of
up Young
Scotch.
Street. It was like following the breadcrumbs, except it was little droplets of Scotch. And welcome, John Moore. Welcome back, Ryan Doyle.
Didn't think I was going
And a
anywhere.
particular welcome to our guest from Scotland, Peter Gordon, who's the chairman of William Grant and Sons. Glad to have you here.
Delighted.
A bit of a Canadian tour celebrating your 30th anniversary in business with your distributor here.
Peter Milzinski, who set up in 1979, and William Grant and Sons with Grants and Glenfiddich were one of the first brands that sort of took the leap and took the right decision.
And you like this guy so much that you even put out or distilled a special blend of Scotch for him and for his company.
We've put together a 30-year-old blend, which is 30 years old. That's the youngest whiskey in it, and it's just for their employees. It's not for sale, and for special gifts.
Unfair.
Well,
You file a protest on that?
for those many.
How about the
that
Astral
have helped
employees?
in the
I'm
way.
speaking on their behalf. As I said, I'm not really a Scotch drinker, though I'm a tasting. Now, okay, let's talk about the special thing you put out. You said it's 30 years. I honestly don't know. What does that mean?
That means that the Scotch whisky was put into a barrel 30 years ago, and all the whiskies that are declared in this blend, there's no whiskey younger than 30 years in it.
Okay, so literally in 1980 it was distilled and put into a barrel, 1979,
yeah.
and just brought out and bottled now.
Correct.
And what? And forgive me. What goes on in that barrel while it's in there that's good?
Well, there's 2 things that happen. The first is that the new make spirit has got sort of lots of volatile alcohols that are sort of quite aggressive. And what happens, they evaporate into the air with the heat and through the time. And then at the same period, the colour that you see in the bottle gets acquired from the infusion of the wood. The elements
okay.
of wood start getting into the spirit.
All right, now this one again, the special, is it blended or not?
It's a blended whiskey.
All right, what does that mean?
Yeah, that means that it is made up of many different single malts put together, plus whiskey from grain distilleries, and that's whiskey not made from malted barley, but made from wheat or corn.
Now, I
which
did
is a
read
much
something
lighter.
that said when you blend, it isn't just like 3, it might be like 20 different kinds.
So the Grant's Family Reserve, which is our signature blend, that has probably about 20 malt whiskies and about 5 grain whiskies in it all told.
And I assume there's somebody who very precisely is doing this, like some sort of mad scientist that's doing this blending in terms of how many of the 20, what quantity of each go into making it what you sell.
So
He's
he's our blender, because what he's trying to do is recreate the style of Grant's through all sorts of different whiskies that sort of, some of them do sort of change in some kind of character. So that's a chap called David Stewart. He's been with us for about 47 years.
What's he called?
He's called the Master Blender.
The Master Blender. Okay, now, John, asking you, you like to drink a bit of Scotch.
A little here or there.
Yeah, I don't want to get carried away with the, it's clear to me from watching you sample this, you don't have a problem that I can detect.
Well,
anyway.
I've just been sitting here smelling it.
Now,
I could
if
do
you
that for hours.
would you prefer a blended versus a malt Scotch, or
I prefer a single malt.
And then why would that be? What, just to help me and the listeners? What?
I don't know. It could be pure snobbery, because I know that they're fine blends.
I'm sure that's not true. There must be a better answer than that.
I just, as I've made my way through various scotches in my life, I've discovered that the single malts for me are a purer taste. Although I could be accused of being a wimpy Scotch drinker, because I tend to favor the lighter ones, say a Balvenie, for example. I'm not that fond of the really heavy peaty ones that sort of taste smokier.
Okay, Ryan, how about you? You like
I'm actually mixed. I think a blend is good for me when I'm in mixed company, and I like a single malt when I'm alone.
When you're
For
alone
my
in a
alone
dark
time.
room.
Now, is this because of the impact it has on your behavior, or is it some
No,
other-
there's just a...
Just thought I'd ask.
I actually
Just
find
saying.
You guys are so nice. How did I agree to this? I just find it's a little bit more of a nice social drink to have, as opposed to a single malt, which I kind of just like for that alone, sort of in my own head kind of time.
Okay, now, Peter, you put water. Is this the one? This is the one I have. This is the new.
Yes, this is what. No, this is the
This is
this
your
is Family
signature.
Reserve, our signature
Right.
blend. Yeah.
Okay.
And with when we talk about blended whiskey, we talk about the difference between single malt and a blended whiskey, with the metaphor that a blend is like an orchestra, and a single malt is a single instrument, and that it's got its own unique character. But you can't pick and choose and try and compensate to give it more balance if it hasn't there. Whereas a blend is something that's put together with many, many different constituent parts. And that's the question, is whether or not does it have that balance, does it have that lingering feeling, is there any dominant characters, or is it everything, the multi-layers and multi-dimensionality being still there?
Now this signature blend, which is called Grant's Blended Scotch, what do you got? It says Family Reserve. You put it in here in this little glass, and then you put some water in it. Now, my dad has had a glass of Scotch since a glass. He's upset with me. He's had a drink of Scotch, one I might point out in case he is listening, every night since I think I've been born. But he has one, and he used to have it on ice with water. Then it went to just on ice, and now he's 80 years old. God bless him, healthy as a horse, and he just has it in the glass. I think they call that neat. What's the right way, if there is one, and what's the difference? Why did you put water in mine?
There is no right or wrong.
Okay.
But I'm interested in smelling what is here, and if you dilute it down to something like between 25 and 30% alcohol by volume, which is adding another third, I think there's an extraordinary explosion of flavour that happens as a result.
If you dilute, I would have thought you'd be the opposite. So if you put the water in, it actually enhances the taste.
Being able to sense and smell.
Yeah. Do you find, John? Do you?
Absolutely. Actually, immediately after adding the water, the smell was that much more.
Isn't that
not necessarily potent?
You wouldn't guess that.
Wider. I never have the words to describe this stuff. It smells good.
Do you put ice in your Scotch when you drink it?
I tend not to. Yeah, actually.
See, because I like something cold to drink. Like I don't like drinking tap water because I put ice in it to make it cold. And so, but it's not better or worse to put ice in or not.
Because there are certain alcohols that are oils. The colder it is, the more the oils turn from being a liquid into a solid phase, and therefore you lose its flavour.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, Ryan, you...
I'm always neat.
Neat?
Yeah.
Well, you are always neat.
Yeah. Even this one. I don't like to put anything in it. I might be missing out, though. By the sounds of it, I am missing out on quite a bit.
All right, now, my dad, for example, had a glass that was maybe more like this, and I'm looking at sort of a shortish glass. Is there any... And you've given us glasses that I would say look like little... I don't know, they're like mini wine glasses, little brandy glasses almost, that you've put the Scotch in. Is that the right... If you're going to drink a little Scotch like this and really try and savor the aroma and the taste...
So we call this a nosing glass.
Nosing glass. So you see, I should know that. I told you, I don't know anything.
You nosed it.
These guys knew that, and they just didn't tell me. You see, they wanted me to look stupid. So a nosing glass.
Yeah, because your nose is such an extraordinary sort of scientific instrument. It senses so much more than your mouth does.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, just
what
you've just said. I've just nosed the new Scotch. Yeah, what you said is also interesting.
Now, are you just? John makes an interesting point. Are you? You've got these tried and true. You've got Glenfiddich, and you've got the ones we talked about, the Family Reserve, and so on. Are you? Now, the proper pronunciation again, Dalwhinnie, and all of those listeners who drink Scotch.
There's two. There's Balvenie or Balvini. You can pronounce it either way.
Okay. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Are you going to try some of these?
Well, no, just making me upset. Look, I've got people telling me about traffic reports. You see, I'm actually working here. You guys are just here partying. You see?